Alright, what's up, y'all? Today we're gonna be starting the live stream. Let me post that I'm live right now. Um, share, copy. There we go. Alright, so the first thing we do when we get on the live stream is we check Forex Factory and see what kind of news we have going on in the morning. So right now we don't have any news right here, so we all good. So the first thing is I'm gonna be logging into all my accounts to show y'all everything is the same from last stream. So far, I only took one trade this month, nothing else, and it ended up being a break even. So let me go to this account right here. This is my first account right here. It's the 100K account, down 2%. So January was a losing month of around 2%. And February, I ain't take no trades. March, one trade, like I said. So if I refresh the page right here, just show y'all real quick. You, you can see that everything is the same right here. Next account, if we go to the definitive funding account, and we go inside the dashboard, we can see that everything is still the same right here. All right. And if we go into the last account, which is the 5%ers, go into dashboard right here. And as you can see, everything is still the same with the equity curve. Nice equity curve in my opinion. Just waiting patiently for another opportunity to make new highs. So let me go ahead and analyze on the charts real quick. There's a couple that I started seeing setting up that I like that I have on the watch list. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on a higher time frame, and see what we can find. Let me see. So I'm looking between like a 5 minute for entries, 5 minutes to 15 minute for entries. Let me see. I didn't take any of these trades, so I'm gonna delete this because this looked like a clean setup right here with my entry. Comes down to the 50, comes up, clean pause, buy stop of the high right there. So I can just delete that and let me just have some clean charts. Okay, we're gonna start off with the higher time frames to see what we're doing. Okay, everything is moving nicely according to the higher time frame. We go to the 30 minute right here. 30 minute end up flushing. So you can consider this like a flush right here. So if price can basically come back out a little bit more, pause nicely against the 10 or 20, and I'll look at what's kind of opportunity lies inside of that because I'm expecting the highs to be cleared overall for USD JPY. Yeah, I'm expecting the highs to be cleared overall. Let me see what's going on for the other ones. Start off with a 5 hour time frame. 5 hour. We had a flush. First break right here on the 30 minute. So the 30 minute, we had a flush. I think this is the flush. Consider this the first, second, third, and it reflushed right here. So yeah, this is a validation flush. Just marking up everything. And after that, simply what I'm waiting for is for price. If we can come and pause nicely against the 10 and 20, I could check the lower time frame to see what the 5 minutes talking about for opportunities to the upside. Yeah, that's all I'm waiting on. So everything looks like in line for it to do some type of setup. Just gotta wait for it to happen. All right, so we analyzed silver, we analyzed USD JPY. I added US 500 to it. It started looking a little bit good. So actually, it's looking really good. Just wanna 1 hour. USD JPY looks clean. I mean not US 500 looks clean. I wonder if it. Let me see. I would take this for my challenge. If I have it on here, do I have US 500? Yeah, I don't even have US 500 on here. But if I was looking at this for a lower time frame entry, so I got the 30 minute. So we're pausing nicely on this 30 minute as we came down. So there might be something on the 5 minute. Check back up. If we can print like at least one more candle on this higher time frame right here, I'll jump down to the 5 minute and look for an opportunity. My setup is basically make a move down to the 50 and we start creating this setup, the impulse correction impulse, and then I'll buy stop this high right here. Let me see this. Let me make sure my accounts even have US 500. Ooh, ooh. Let me switch over. You just seeing. Oh, yeah, I do have it, so that's good. So I can potentially look for an opportunity there. It's about seeing which one looks the most clean out of all of them. Let me see what gold is doing as well. Yeah, a lot of the times, all trading is just showing up to the market. You have your analysis. It's either it plays out or it doesn't. And if the market don't look clean, you just step away. So for gold specifically, go to the higher time frame, see what's going on. Yeah, gold is not ready for the lower time frames because we're in what I like to call a flush. And the flush is basically like the beginning cycle of price. You can consider it like stage one consolidation. You can consider it Wyckoff, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. That's why I don't like calling things names. But if we can have like a pop above, like a little bit more, I can check the 30 minute, and at that point, the 30 minute would start to be trending like this. What then I could look for something to go hop on a lower time frame. It's multi time frame analysis. Everything needs to be aligning for it to make sense. So gold is not ready for a lower time frame. So I'm gonna put this like slightly in blue because it could set something up. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on all of these right here: USD JPY, silver, and USD 5, US 500. Still need to make more of a move. Okay. All right, this one looks like it doesn't look too clean. Let me see. Let me see how is it looking on the 5. Actually, it could possibly set up today. This actually does look clean for silver. I'm sure. Yeah, silver looks clean. Yeah. I wonder, do I have the same pricing for silver? Silver. Clicking the wrong button. You chart 3378887. Alright, that's similar. What about my? I'm just checking the pricing if it's all aligns. This is a little bit different. 767. Yeah, that could be a problem for me unless basically just comparing the prices. 781. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just trade one account then. I'm gonna just trade one account since there's a bit of some price differences. I don't want to stress myself too too much trying to get into all of them. Even though I have a trade copy, the price differences makes it a little bit harder and stuff like that. Me going to lower time frame. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for a setup right here for silver. We can just do this. Let me get everything paired on. Let me see. I'm gonna trade this account. Which one is the lowest in drawdown? Let me see. This one is 96. Yeah, I'm gonna just trade this one. 86. So I can go back to the original one right here. Hold on, that price. 86. 86. Oh yeah, that's off. Hold on. 786. Me trying to make sure the price in it. Yeah, 786. 9. I'm tripping. All right, so I'm gonna just pick 7, 8, 7, 7. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply be looking from my phone and just enter the bar stop when it gets through on trading view. Look at these price differences. All right, so everything looks nice for me to wait. Just about waiting now. If it's possible, I might trade my challenge as well alongside with my account. Um, Let me see how the pricing looks for silver as well. If it's the same, this is, let me see, silver, 3808. I mean, yeah, yeah. If I have a chance, I'll enter it for my challenge as well. But my main focus is just these funded accounts, so I can start off with some profits this month or something. And keep in mind, the beautiful thing about trading is even though I have this analysis, it can still fail and I don't get a trade. And that's very powerful when your analysis is not tied to your actual trading. So analysis doesn't mean actual trade. So while I'm looking, I'm gonna quickly take a look at the other pairs to see what it's doing. Because typically, what I like to do is whichever one sets up the most the first and in a clean way, then that's the one I'll take first, and I just ignore the rest once I'm in a trade. So I'm gonna take a look at USD JPY real quick to see what it's doing. Still nothing like too crazy. Not too crazy yet. This 500. Yes, 500. It came down, but it made the setup too high right here. I don't typically if I'm taking a setup like I don't like these types of setup, even though it could work, it has to be like faster type of management because price can easily like tag in, reflush down, and create a setup much lower like that. So if I was to enter something like this, it would have to be like, okay, I break even instantly when I have a momentum candle. That's based on what I'm noticing. I have so much images for this entry, especially from last year. I got a whole bunch of images that I was especially reviewing last night. That's why it's important to journal. So that's way too high. So the closest ones I think that may set up is US 500 or silver. Because if we can come down and reset up, that's really good. So I'm gonna put that close to each other like that. So even if the candle closes like this, wouldn't necessarily mean the setup is invalid as long as it's holding nicely, still like above this 10, which is the red line right there, then it's still good because we could still do something like this where even though we moved under that 50 slightly, we could still pop a little bit down and then start proving itself as it starts making its way back up like that. But if it just completely drops off, then I can just move on to the next one on the watch list. Let me take a look at it on the higher. We got 11 minutes for this candle to close, so I gotta see how this higher time frame closes right here. So we can take a look at US 500 real quick. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to US 500 because this one looks like it could set up like the quickest. 'Cause we're in that area I talked about right here. How we can move down. So if we can just basically do the same thing that I'm expecting. The lower the entry, the better, in my opinion, based on what I was been looking at for my past trading results from last year. Then once I enter the trade, I'm gonna just switch on to the account so y'all can just see the P&L and everything. I risk around $650, $600 per trade, which is around a 0.65 risk for on one account. Let me close some of these tabs. Um, yeah, so as it's doing that, I'm gonna get on position size calculator. Yeah. Oh, not with this one. I'm tripping. I'm still asleep. Here we go. Let me just quickly look at the higher, see where it's at. And you can just basically, when you look at the higher time frame, you can just see how fractal price is. Like this same move is basically like an entry setup on a higher time on this 30-minute. Same entry that I'm looking at a lower time frame. You can see it if it can just if it's set up. If it doesn't hold this area right here, then I will have to wait again for it to pop back up, because then I will consider this as a reflush. So a flush is when it resets, comes under all the MAs, or at least breaks the 20 close to the 50, like that, as it chops around. So it looks like it's coming back down to that 50. Yeah, I'm gonna completely US 500 doesn't look good anymore because of we're coming on the higher time frame. We're coming under right here. Unless we can just reject up the last 3 minutes. Take a look back. Look at silver again. Okay, silver might do something. It might gold doing. Okay, silver might just do something. Okay, I think silver might just do something. This is the flush. This is yeah. Silver looks very good. Starting to set up. Okay. Even when you're on the lower time frames, you still gotta have these patience. Yeah, US 500 completely doesn't look good. Actually, let me verify that. Yeah, US 500, this area, specific area, actually, may set something up here. Maybe we're too early. Huh. This 500, it don't look too bad. This area, still clear. I mean, see something. Move. come out of this area. I can see it. I can see a move coming out of this area if it wants to set up. Yeah. Yeah. This is use 500 looking good. I'm gonna get this ready. You can create a setup right here. I'm gonna look for the opportunity. Okay, I'm picking this one. USD 500. US 500. So if we can get a pause right here, then I'll set no, entry right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get everything prepared. I'm gonna be looking at my phone as well. I'm gonna just mark it executed just to avoid like spreads and stuff like that. That was a nasty close. If it closes like that, that's nasty. I don't like that. That's a nasty close. It's a nasty one right there. I'm just keeping an eye on both of them. Yeah, that was not a good close right there. So right here, this area, I'll consider this a flush. Still in this area. Even if it does start rejecting up, is the fact that it came like all the way to the 50 again like that. It's losing the MAs completely. Over. Yeah. I don't like how that closed. This candle's closing right there. Let's see what the next candles do. Mm, I don't like it. Let me take a look at USD JPY. Oh, USD JPY looking good, but it's not quite ready as of yet. If we can let's see, give me a minute. If we can basically do this, have to it come down to that 10 or 20. I could look for a setup. I do not like this area right here. Yeah, it looks wonky in this area, especially how it closing. It can still end up looking clean later on, but right now it's not looking clean. Moving under. Okay, this might do something. Now it's rejecting all the way up. Okay, so now it's starting to look clean. Yeah, yeah. Probably should just end up leaving without me right here. It's too much at the high. Wouldn't be a great area to buy stuff. Yeah, it looks ugly in that area. Silver still looks ugly. I'm just flipping through to make sure I'm up to date. That one got eyes got cleared. So we can wait. If this was a 30-minute entry right here, probably would have got stopped out right here. Put in the stops right here. Yeah. Okay, so the main ones I'm looking at is USD, JPY, and silver right now. Everything else is not good. Yeah. Yeah. My opinion now, I feel like it may just reflush down. May just reflush like that. 'Cause now the 5 minute not really looking good. Unless we can start making a clear move higher. Then we just said that US 500 wasn't looking good. Yeah. the reflush down. So USD JPY, not USD JPY, but silver. Move that down here. Then US 500 just in this chop area now. It's probably gonna just chop around until we try to leave out of this area. Meantime, I'm gonna take a look at some other markets while I'm waiting to see. Time frame. So as you can see, like all time frames same. This weekly time frame for Tesla right here had we're in a bullish market. Overall, we're bullish. We've been heading higher. We had double breaks. We had the flush. So it's probably trying to restart the cycle. So when I'm going on something like a daily time frame and I see this double break right here, most likely I'm thinking like, okay, price may want to continue higher. So if I'm trading like a 5 minute, we could start something. We could wait 5 hour. If we trading something like a 5 minutes, so we go on to 5 hour. What we have here is basically this the flush. Oh shoot, wrong thing. This is on thousand. So if I'm looking to trade a 5 minute, this wouldn't be necessarily ready right now. Let me see. However, if I was looking to trade a flush, we had one, two, three, four, five. It's too late in here. So most likely we're gonna flush down deeper. Yeah, this wouldn't be ready. I'll need a pop above, basically validating demand right here. A nice closure. Okay. It's refreshing right here. Our validation structure. Looks like it's flushing right now. Good in this context. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick to USD JPY. Okay, may set up something right here so we can come down. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be waiting for. Everything is looking good. Mm, mm. Yeah, this is starting to set up nicely. So if I was to label this out, so now that I'm looking at this, I need one more candle to print here before going on the lower time frame. So now that I'm looking at the 30 minute, so We just got 25 minutes waiting. What's good, man? What's good? This is the boring side of trading, the waiting part. The exciting part is when you finally get the trade. If I do get a setup for USD JPY, I'm gonna be trading all the accounts together only because the prices are the same. So So one reason that a lot of the times people are confused with lower time frames is because they just hop onto the lower time frames without getting a view of what the the bigger picture basically. So the reason why I'm able to go on a 5 minute, 1 minute time frame is because I pair it with other time frames. So before even jumping on a 5 minute time frame, I'm looking at a few other time frames like the 30 minute and especially the 5 hour. So once I get alignment, it will make sense for me to take a trade alongside with the 5 minute. So my confluences for like buys are basically one we have. Well, if we start off with the weekly, I like trading with the overall direction on where the market is heading. And if we look at the weekly time frame, based on how I view structure, we have two breaks, and usually when you get two breaks or more, that is a sign that we're in a bullish market. The moment we get a breakdown, I still consider a bullish market because I assume the target is going to be the high because of structure moves similar to this. We got two breaks, break of a low, automatically assuming the high, and once prices starts to push up like this, makes a correction, then it's like, okay, price may start to target all the highs on the left hand side. If you notice, that's similar to my entry right here, taking a buy stop right there. So since the weekly looks like that, I can hop on a time frame like a 5 hour time frame to establish, all right, what's the direction for specifically the lower time frames. And we have this bullish breaks. We have a low broken right here. This, yeah, that's why my computer was slow yesterday. But we have a break of a low, break of a high. Then on top of that, we have a mini cycle going on right here, where when price comes under all the MAs, we can expect 4 to 5 mini breaks of structure, or it could be larger breaks of structure, whatever, before price refails down. So we have what I call a flush right here. We have the first break of structure, the second, and the third. As long as it's moving alongside the 10 and 20, it's still good. And you can expect 4 to 5 of those before we reflush down and restart again. So if I label this, since I got time to kill and stuff like that, we can call this like the context flush. Get out the path tool. Oh, that's the price. Path tool right here. First moment, you can say this is still considered a flush right here because of how aggressively it broke through those MAs, but this can be considered the context breaker structure one. This overall area is the context breaker structure two. And then when you align it with the validation time frame that you use to validate, you can see that the structure is moving nicely. We have a double break, break of a low, high, double break, break of a low, assuming the high, and with the validation time frame, you have the same cycle where we flushed under the MAs right here. We started a move right here where it created the validation break of structure. And since we have 15 minutes to kill, I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. So if I'm trying to, where's my box? We go in this area where price made that move and it paused on the 5 minute time frame. There was a nice entry right here of my entry setup where we either come close to the 50 on the 50 or a little bit under. We make a move up, pause, buy stop, and it was basically you just manage it before it fails. You don't know when the trend may fail, but the important thing is trade management. So if I was specifically in a trade like this, the way I will manage it is, so if I had this buy stop right now I'm testing 1-to-1 on what's it called, break even area, just to have quicker break evens. The more higher you are in the range, you want to break even probably like at a 1-to-1 because it's very likely it can reflush. If you're getting the entry lower the range, it's okay to wait for some type of mini structure. But in this specific scenario, a 1-to-1 would have worked, and I will wait for 3 candles of momentum and partial if it's at least above a 1-to-2. So we had the first candle, the second candle, and the third candle. So I would have partialed 50% right here, and I will basically hop back on that lower time frame, and I will basically trail the rest of the position with the second low. So this is the most recent low right here. If there was another low indicated by the indicator right under here, I would have trailed my stops. But in this case, the rest of the position, the rest of the position would have just got trailed out at break even. So in this case, I would have took with just one partial if I was in a trade like this. That's all I basically just wait for. So now I'm just waiting for that pause in 13 minutes. Pause is basically when a price prints a candle and the next candle after it closes without taking out the previous candle's high, which is right here. And it's also moving in line with the 10 or 20. Quick explanation while I'm bored. So we got 13 minutes. So since we got 13 minutes, I can get everything prepared to see what we got going on. So we move close to the 50 right here. The closer you are to the 50, the better, but it doesn't have to be exactly. What did I just take out? It doesn't have to be exact. It can be close or under. So I'm gonna wait that 12 minutes right there and wait for my setup. This is USD JPY. Let's see, you're still in the steady stage. Just keep going at it. In the beginning, you want to have as much chart time as possible through like back testing, getting the repetition in. You know, a lot of people online make it seem like you have to lose a lot of money and go through a lot of pain before you really experience it to actually get a feel of the market when that's not necessarily the case. You can get that same experience through testing like a whole bunch of trades of the same system over and over and over. And once you see during the back testing stage that okay, you have good results, you can go to forward testing, demo testing, where you're showing up to the market and just executing the same rules on a demo account for like at least 6 months and see how what the results do before you go for that challenge or that live or opening up that live account. So that's the whole reason why like if price was to move without me, I wouldn't care because of the amount of testing, the amount of images I have of my system. So it wouldn't be wise for me to try to chase price. Those are just um basic issues that can be fixed easily through testing. Oh, let me see. So we got that 30 minute, we got 10. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna get everything prepared. Let's see. Let me go on babypips.com. Just easier for me to calculate the position sizing right here. You see. So I'm using a trade copier. One of my accounts, so I have 3 accounts. One of my accounts, I'm risking extremely small because I'm almost there to hit in the max loss limit on it. The other 2 accounts is gonna be at a 0.65 risk because it's at only like 2% drawdown for the other 2 accounts. So USD JPY. 3604. All right. So I like to just get all my everything just prepared. So by the time that candle closes, I don't miss the trade. So in 10 minutes, we have that close. So if we can stay under what I see right here, if we can stay under this area so far within that 10 minutes, because I have to keep in mind the 30 minute closes in 9 minutes, so I don't want to enter this trade earlier. I could probably put my stops just under here. So if it ends up like not taking out the high, I could set a buy stop here, and I'll just manage it accordingly. I don't know how much I can make, but I know how much I could potentially lose because I'm risking a certain amount. So usually I just risk $650 across two of my accounts. The third one is just extremely small risk, so I can try to save the account. So I'm gonna put it 150.492. Let me put it slightly. What's the spreads looking like on my accounts? Let me see what the spreads. USD JPY. There's not much spreads. USD JPY. I reloaded it. Let me see. Symbols. Alright, whatever. That's 10.8 pips. 150.496. 0.19. My computer moving slower now that I want to look for a trade. Okay, we still got 7 minutes, even though it's pausing right here. We still got 7 minutes before we can decide. Okay. What was the risk again? I'll be having a short term. Okay. 0.19. So it's all connected to the trade copier. So I'm entering it on one account. Once I'm in the trade, I'm gonna just show y'all the account and just I'm gonna just leave the screen on that. Let me see. Risk USD JPY. You know what? I forgot the risk again. Oh, 19. There we go. Uh, um, yeah, 50. now it's just a waiting game to see if we still close, because that whole 30-minute area, as long as we don't push out of this whole range, because that's that range we're in on that 30-minute. And then this is the high I want to get involved above. So we still can't do anything because that 30-minute hasn't closed. It closes at 10:30. So the ideal scenario is if this candle can still close within this area, then it will be good, because then the next candle that pushes up, I'll enter the trade right here. And then I have a rule for cutting losses. When you have a rule for cutting, exact rule for cutting losses, that saves you a lot of money in the long run, especially when you are looking to get involved with an overall trend. All right, so we moved through the high, and it hasn't been 10:30, as you can see. Like if we go up here, um, we moved through it. We still got on 2 minutes until 10:30. So what I can do, since that entry didn't happen for me, how do you know when to stop base on condition? The stop base condition is just my entry setup. So basically once I do my analysis and everything aligns, to do a buy stop, I need a move up like an impulse. The next candle needs to print basically before taking the previous candle's high. So in this candle you had a move up, the next candle printed, and then basically that's when I will set the stop after this candle closes, and then it will tag me in. But everything has to align with the higher time frame, like based on the analysis, because this is basically a trend following system. So there in the short term, you might get like for profits maybe like 2R, 3R, maybe 1R on a trade. But in the long run, you might occasionally catch like 4, 5, 6R, and you can implement a rule where you only take trades where your stop loss can be like small like that as well. So even though I missed this one right here, it could set up another one right here above here, because that one took out the high. So I could, if another candle can print, so these are 5-minute candles, if the next 5 minutes after this can print before taking out this candle high, I'll take this one as a trade. So this one right here. And I have to keep in mind with the higher ones, I really want to manage quicker, way quicker, especially with the break evens, because the higher you are in the range, I talked about this before, you could still get stopped out, but if it ends up pushing, it's gonna be really rewarding. All right, so now it's 10:30. We could start looking. So 150.524, 150. 5. Huh, I'm tripping. Yeah, 150.524, 10.6. Okay, everything is the same. All right, I'm gonna get everything ready. Point 6. Where's USDJ? 150 point. All right, and basically I'm gonna just wait to see if it clears the high right there. Usually I just set the buy stop, but I'm gonna specifically market execute it. So, cause of spreads and everything, you could account for spreads and stuff like that by just moving it upwards just a bit. But I'm gonna just market execute when it gets above it, especially since it's just a 5 minute time frame, so it wouldn't take long to see if this area is valid or not. So I gotta wait. I gotta wait for this candle to close first. All buy stopping the high means is just your buy stopping the creation of structure, or you can call it the creation of demand, whatever you want to call it. Because all a up move before a down move, like the down move before a up move, is just demand being created. So, you got the down move, then you're just buying into the demand. And when you really get true demand, price won't come back to that area for a while. And that's where you can manage into profits and stuff like that. All right. So we got 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see. Is it gonna come up? Got my hands on my phone right now, so once I get in, I can show y'all the accounts and everything while I'm in. Well, I can't assume I'm gonna get the trade either way because it can still fail down. I'm here so focused around this phone, especially since I haven't did a market execution in a while. I usually do the buy stops, but I'm gonna just do it manually when it gets above that high. If it gets above the high. Pushing. Maybe I should have just set the buy stop. My fingers are tired. Hovering over the buy button. You can see, probably hear how concentrated I am. Trying to. There we go. I just pressed buy on it. Let me just show y'all that I'm in. Yeah, show y'all. There we go. So y'all can see that this is my first account right here. Um, this is my second account right here, and the one that I entered it on was the one that I did the slow, the extremely small risk on is the Metacoats. So let me bring this up. gonna load up. Come on, load. Not gonna load. Oh, it's right here. There we go. And that's the last one right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna monitor it. So basically my rule of cutting losses, if this wants to be a loss, is I'm closing it early if it breaks that 20. That's simply what I'm doing. I'm simply gonna be also breaking even at a quick 1-to-1, either a 1-to-1 or if price can make some type of structural move before that 1-to-1, meaning like something like this where it makes a move up, makes a pause, moves up like that. Either one of those would be a great sign to break even. So we're gonna see what it does. This month has been a very slow month for me because I only took one trade. It was a break even this whole month. February I didn't take no trades at all. None of the markets was setting up for me. And then January I had a losing month. So the last time I even had a withdrawal was in December, which is a bit of a minute. So I used to trade the 15 to 1 minute. So I'm testing out doing the 5 to 15 minutes because of the market conditions weren't really setting up. So and then one thing you have to understand, I'm gonna give y'all like a really good psychology tip right here. So if a strategy can be profitable with a 30% win rate, right? My win rate sits at around 30 to 40%, right? So if you're testing your system during back testing and you notice that your system has a 30% win rate, it can be profitable as long as your winners are at least 3 times your risk. Now that I explained that, right? So let's say that you already tested your system, you did the demo testing and everything, right? When you're ready to go onto the live markets or, trade that funded account or whatever, I want you to assume that let's say you take 100 trades out of the whole year. Let's just assume that you're going to take 70 losses. Just expect 70 losses, and each loss you take, just count the loss. Because theoretically, like if you take 70 losses throughout the whole year, and you have a total of 100 trades and 30 of those trades were winner, you would have still made 20% for the month. I mean, not 20% for the month, but 20% for the year, which is um great when you consider that most people actually lose money trading. So that's how you want to think about it as well. Same thing with a higher number. Let's say the course of a few years, you take 700 losses and 300 wins. That's a 200% gain. I think that's a 200% gain right there on your account just by expecting the losses because losses are gonna occur either way when you're trading your system. There's no way to avoid them. And one problem I did in the beginning of my trading, probably like all the way up until like probably like the beginning of 2022, was switching my strategy every time I got to a losing streak or something like that. So I'm gonna keep it on here. I'm gonna keep it on here so y'all can just see the P&L, and I'm gonna watch the charts from my phone and everything so I can see if I need to cut a loss. I'm gonna just show y'all just one account. Y'all could low key see at the top of my screen right here. You can see my second account right here with the $86 right there, so y'all can see that. Your account, I don't really think y'all want to just see this low profit. I'm gonna just show y'all like these high profit and stuff like that. But if I lose this trade, depending, I don't even know how much the max I can lose on the trade is just $650 across the accounts, these two accounts. But if I cut the loss, it might be like a $300 loss on average when I cut it. It's around like, ooh, let's see. And if I do get to manage it into profit, I'll just explain as I go what I'm doing. But for now, all you need to know is I cut my losses, and for either a one-to-one, I'm gonna break even, or the fractal structure, I'm gonna break even. Well, I'm also in for my challenge because I have this connected to a trade copier as well for my challenge. I'm recording a YouTube video of the 500K Prop Firm challenge series that I'm doing for YouTube. So I'm actually gonna record that live real quick. So I'm gonna switch over to my one of my what's it called, my challenge right here, and then I'm gonna just record a quick clip because I'm documenting the whole series on my channel. So y'all basically get to hear me talk the video. This can load. There we go. So I'm in a trade right now for my challenge. Oh, that just reversed so quickly. That just reversed so quickly. I'm in a trade right now. We're gonna see what it does right here. There we go. We're gonna go back over here and we're gonna switch back over. Mm. So if I'm looking at the charts on my phone, we didn't meet the rule of cutting losses. So if I show y'all the on trading view chart real quick, you can see that we just the only pullback we made was to this 10 right here. We gotta specifically break this 20, which is the red line. So let me switch back over here. Yep. That's crazy how when I decided to record it from the challenge, it's gonna be in drawdown just a little bit, and now it's pushing back up to around break even right now. Ugh. Yeah, we in some profit right now. Mm, mm, mm. And a lot of people have trouble with cutting losses. It's easy to cut a loss when you understand the bigger picture, right? So when you screenshot, when you're back testing and you're demo testing, you need to be journaling your trades, right? Oh, speaking of journal, I didn't even put this in right here. Download image. All right. So you need to be journaling your trades so you can look back at your trades and be like, okay, most of my winners do this. So if my trade is doing this, then it makes sense to cut the loss. And that's how I came up with the rule of cutting the loss. So let me go to my journal. This is just showing my 2025 trades combined with my funded accounts. Wait, combined with my challenges and stuff like that for this year. For last year, I had put when I did used to sell a mentorship. I no longer sell anything. I'm just giving free value, just working on my own personal trading and stuff like that. But before, when I used to put all my trades in the Telegram, so I have access to it, so I can look back at it. So what I do is this was just the JPY, and price is pushing up nicely. Y'all can see it right here in the little corner. It's almost there to the area where I need to break even the trade. Here we go. I'm keeping an eye on it just in case. Yeah, that is pushing. Wait, hold on, let me show y'all. It's pushing up right now. See, before I put it in my journal, since it's so close, I'm gonna get ready to break even the trade. One 55.24. There's so many ways to manage a trade. So many ways. After I get the break even, I'm gonna quickly explain what I'm gonna do to see if I can potentially get first partials. And then after that, I'm gonna continue with showing y'all how I journal. Cause my channel, like I'm changing everything up. I'm just gonna give y'all like everything, like free value. What everything I do, just show y'all my journey. Because even though I'm profitable, there's still a lot of work I need to do so I can really make like crazy amounts. All right, price is stalling just a bit. So as soon as I say it's pushing a little bit, I'm trying to see if I should put it in my journal first or wait just a bit. It shouldn't matter. I'm gonna put it in my journal first. All right, so this is what I do for putting it in my journal. Hold on. All right, this is what I do. So I'm gonna change it to today's date. That's when I got a trade. It was New York session. Simply, I click right here, and I'm gonna get the image up. Uh, Downloads just like that. Yeah, it was right here. Okay, yeah, I had a brain fart just now. Trade process. Oh, I didn't take a shot of the higher time frames. Yeah, when y'all journal too, make sure y'all take not just a screenshot of your entry, but the higher time frame. That's one mistake I did do last year. I only took a picture of the entry. You're not gonna have a good idea on what's going on, the bigger picture, if you don't take a shot of what all like the main time frames. I took there we go. Just like that. Started. I started. See, I'm at break even right now. Started. uh, I started a bullish cycle. 5 hour context. Um, validation. Flushed. Pausing. All right, so I just journaled that trade right there. I just took, and yeah, we're gonna come back here. If we can break this high, either break this high right here, either break this high or go to that 1-to-1. That would be a good sign to break even there. One good tip too is when you enter a trade, don't assume it's gonna win. The first thing is assume it's gonna be a break even. I mean, assume it's gonna be a loss. Once you get to break even, assume it's gonna be a break even, and so you don't have any expectations on the trade playing out. So if this trade ends up, so right now my expectation is going to be, okay, this trade is going to lose. Once I get this break even, which is I'm almost there to the break even, I'm gonna assume it's going to be a break even. So we're gonna see. We're up a good amount. We're up like $1,000 right now in total, but there's still no reason to close anything. So let me. Okay, I can see that it's almost to that one to one. So I'm remember I'm basically gonna break even it on my trade copy right here on the main account. Either the one to one or that close, whichever one. So I started implementing a rule where I'm only taking trades where the stop loss size is like small or decent. That way I can get more RR out of the market. 1 minute to 1 minute, and y'all can just see it's over here as well. We just waiting. So my brain automatically is not really looking at the P&L. Like the P&L looks nice, but my brain is thinking about how am I managing this trade? What am I gonna do next? A lot of traders get into a trade and they don't even have an exit plan or what they're gonna do if if the market goes against them. And you can see when I before I entered this trade, I had a plan. I showed up to the market, didn't expect to get a trade, analyzed, saw multiple markets looking good, and when I found my trade setup, I explained what's gonna happen if price ends up reversing, which I explained my rule of cutting losses. I already have a stop loss. All right, so it closed right here, so I'm gonna move this to break even. So I moved my stop loss to break even, as you can see right here. It got adjusted here as well. The fill price was 528. It's not too much. If it reverses, I'm gonna take that small loss right here. So as you can see, if you look right here, is at the one to one. I don't take profits at one to one. So let me show y'all what I'm doing for profit management. Now, simply I wait for 3 candles of momentum. So there's one candle right here on the validation time frame. So we have one candle that tagged me in. This is the second candle. If the third candle, by the third candle, right? If we can close at a 1 to 2 or more, that's where I would take the partial. So if we close at the 1 to 2, like if the third candle closes up right here, I'll take that partial. If there's a third candle but it doesn't get up there, I won't take anything until the next candle, like whatever candle prints, it has to be at least at 1 to 2 or more. And the reason why I like this way for now is because you can have huge momentum in the third candle and then you get a partial at a 3R, 4R, or whatever if the candle wants to be huge enough. And then I would show y'all the second management on how I manage the rest of the position. But right now, I'm assuming that this trade particularly is going to be a break even. Just so, like, okay, if it reverses, it's just a part of the game. I talk about this a lot on my channel, but wins, losses, and break evens combined makes a profitable system instead of focusing on the individual outcome of each trade. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my journal now, and I'm just gonna update what I did. So for I'm gonna write in trade management. I'll be bringing out this right here. I don't have an A key right now. I was playing Fortnite and I just was going crazy then, my keyboard. So that's why I gotta use this now. I haven't played Fortnite in a minute though, but ever since I stopped management mood uh, almost at break even. So I'm basically jotting down what I did. So a year from now, 6 months, 3 months, a month, end of the week, I can look back at the trade so I can see what I did wrong and what I can improve on. You never want to improve on based on P&L. Like in January, I know why I would have had a break even month if I just performed a little bit better. There's a few trades that are missing. They're in the Telegram because like in the middle of it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus more on my trading, but there was so much things I could have did better. Um, Particularly with buy stops. So basically, account there's 3 times in January where I didn't account for spreads, and because of that, I got tagged in early and it just reversed. So I was like, all right, I let that mistake happen 3 times. Then when my winner came in, I accidentally risked less than half of my trade when my winner came in January. So me seeing that, now next time when I write in my journal and next time I come to the markets, I can be like, okay, instead of um when I'm placing a buy stop, account for the spreads. If I don't account for the spreads, I'm gonna miss the trade. Or if what's it called? Or something like I did now, I would instead of actually setting a buy stop, I just waited for price and market executed. So that way that wouldn't happen. Appreciate it. I'm just trying to give as much value as possible because I don't need anything in return. I just want to show people like it's possible as well. So we have like 20 minutes. We have a while for this to play out and stuff like that. I wonder if everything else, if there's anything else I can talk about. Um, let's see. I wonder if there's anything else particularly. Markets, like one thing I have to say is like there's for a particular market, I never consider myself like I don't just trade one market. I trade basically everything. And even though I say I trade everything, that doesn't mean I'm here every day placing trades randomly across all the markets I have on this watch list because most of the times markets are going to be like untradeable. There's going to be only a specific point in time where you should be looking for a trade. And even when you wait at that specific moment in time, it doesn't guarantee you're going to take a win. But what it does guarantee is you doing the same thing over and over at that specific point in time will make you money overall. That's what it does guarantee. So an example like this, if I go on to something like gold, I've been bullish on gold, right? But right now the market condition for gold is choppy. It's not showing me nothing for me to even enter on a 5 minute. So whoever's entering on this gold right now is probably getting chopped out because the most likely move is to chop around, and that's why I use multiple time frames. So right now, if you look at gold, it's in the beginning of a cycle because we first started a move right here. So these points were it paused right here. Right here would be like a good better area where it made that pause right here. You could be looking for an opportunity. The second pause, and usually you see like three on to four of those before that flush. And we have one, two, three. We have a fourth one that was created and then we reflushed. So we could reset up the same thing again, basically, where as long as we push out of the move right here and we make a nice clean pause, it could be the beginning of a new trend. What about red folder news? For red folder news, what I typically do is this all depends on the time frame that you trade as well, but I don't like to enter trades an hour before red news. Especially if it's very like high impact, I don't like to enter it an hour before. Usually I wait for after red news, because red news, especially when you're on a lower time frame, gives you puts on a lot of extra risk you don't want to take, because if you're on a lower time frame and red news happens, right? You can get slipped out of your trade. So if you're risking 1%, you can easily take a 2% loss because of huge slippage on that on lower time frame as well. Or something like, if I like usually I before I would used to be like a 15-minute or 1 hour, because I know how to switch between time frames. Um, let's just say, okay, I entered a trade. There was great context. I entered a trade, and there was red news, right? Since we know that each candle is 15 minutes, I really don't. Even though it's 1 hour before, I typically wouldn't for a 1 hour setup or a 15-minute setup, because you could still be in the trade basically because of the 15-minute candles, how they print. So this is one 15-minute, two, this is 30 minutes, this is 45. By the fourth candle, we could still be consolidated in this area, or whatever. I hope that makes sense. I wonder if that made sense. I don't know if I made sense. I felt like I was all over the place with that one. But in simple terms, I just wait either after, or it has to be a good distance before. So for example, let me look at Forex Factory right here. Like there was no red news all over here. Like if I was trading like London session and stuff like that, and I hopped on in the charts at around like 2 o'clock, I wouldn't want to really trade. I wouldn't want to trade it until like after that 3 o'clock. I typically do that with no matter what the currency pair says. And the reason why I do that is because on my funded accounts as well, some of them have rules against red the red news trading and stuff like that. But I typically need to get more data on if I do want to enter trades, if that don't correlate with the red news exactly. Alright. So the reason why like the structure moves like this is because a lot of times people can get confused by what the structure is actually doing. Like example like this, people may see this as a breaker structure. Like this is how like I traded a lot of strategies before in my past, and this is like the one strategy that I like so much. But people may see this as support, right? I mean, is this support? No, resistance right here, and they might begin into sells because of this huge drop off right here, or they may be looking at a specific demand on zone right here to look for sells. This one worked, but then it breaks through. It's just clearing the stop losses. So the reason why structure moves like this is because structure needs to happen on all time frames. Like if you look at the regular YouTube videos, people teach you that structure moves perfectly like this, makes higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows perfectly. That is not the case. If that was the case, everybody would make money by just buying support or buying the demand. Instead, of what prices tend to move like is, okay, we may have like a stage one. A stage one is consolidation. It breaks highs, breaks lows, breaks highs, breaks lows, and stuff like that. As we start to push out of this range, right, we may have a momentum cycle where we do minimum pullbacks, right? Where those type of that type of market condition, you're gonna notice it pauses on the 10 and 20 EMA. So once you get like this minimum pullback, a break of a low, the break of a low that I was talking about is just a higher time frame structure being filled in. So when it does this, I don't assume, okay, the market is ready to go down for a sell. I assume, okay, we cleared out the lows. The higher time frame is on a bullish move. So this is just a higher time frame leg. So as we start building blocks of demand or structure, this is that impulse pause. All that is just structure getting formed on the way higher. So once you see that, I assume it's just going to clear the highs to continue the overall trend. So, because if you see this large leg move, this large move down, if we go on something like we can play around with time frames and stuff like that. That look at this, it's just the structure being formed to clear out the high. So, what else? All right, time frame. So I covered that. Let me stay on this 30-minute time frame just because that's where I wanna look for potential like partials after the third candle. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Let's see. When I'm usually testing, I'm typically when you want to make improvements on your trading, the main thing I see people do is they try to look for improvements based on their win rate. Having a higher win rate does not necessarily mean you will make more profit because I could simply do this. A lot of the people on YouTube as well, this is what they do to trick people by saying they have a high win rate system with like 90%. Simply all they can do is they wait for a little bit of profit and they instantly take profit. So they stop loss can be right here. They're risking $1,000, but they're taking $300 wins, $200 wins. Yes, it has a high win rate, but long term, let's just say, okay, the move happens quick, it hits your stop loss. Boom, you just lost a lot of your gains quick. Let's say that happens multiple times in a row and stuff like that. There are people who are profitable with lower win rate. You know, I prefer like if you're using a low win rate, just a one-to-one, just be consistent. Just make sure you're very picky with the types of setups that you're taking because you want to make sure like your losing streak isn't too long and stuff, and the actual price is getting to your target. Because the RR doesn't matter if price doesn't get to your target at all. So that even if you're a one-to-one trader, it doesn't mean you're going to be more profitable if the system that you're trading most of the times is not even going to get into that one-to-one. Yeah. So I'm gonna just quickly just show y'all the P&L and everything. And at this point, I'm still assuming this trade is gonna be a break even because I ain't take no partials, and this is a good way to like just keep yourself in check. Like you're not having too much expectations. Mm, Wait for this to load. While it's loading, let me go on here. So this one is up $1,000, but that's still not a good reason for me to close personally because I was risking 650. Doesn't make sense. Um, this can oh that's the my funded FX. It would have been nice if I entered for my challenge as well. Appreciate it, man. And just making sure like I'm giving as much value as possible for my years because I've been trading for 5 years now. This is my fifth year. I mean, almost 5 years. October makes my fifth year. So I'm just trying to like um get better myself while giving like value based on my experience. It's just taking so long to load. I'm trying to. There we go. All right, there we go. So this is it right here. Oh yeah, I think I quickly touched on let me see. I talked about journaling and everything and how you can improve with it. I think I specifically talked about why I cut losses because if you actually take a screenshot of most of your trades on what they actually do, if just look at what all your winners do, right? Most of your winners that run extremely nicely, they usually typically don't like they typically don't get back to break even, right? They usually run nicely. For me personally, my trades, like a good trade would basically be moving like this. Like it just has a nice impulse up. It may tag it just a bit, but after it makes that structure, it just starts to move and move above that 10 and 20. So me knowing that is if price is doing consolidating in this, let's just say I took this entry right here and price just started to consolidate instead of moving like this. That would be I would be aware of what price is doing and I'll be like, okay, price is doing not what I'm expecting. It'll be a good reason to cut my loss, right? Started 2 years ago, but was a 9 to 5. 9 to 5. Any tips? Any easy tips? The it depends on where you are right now. Like, do you have a system that you already tested, back tested for like a whole bunch of trades? It depends on where you are, because if you're still at that stage, all I recommend you to do is, if you haven't already, um, find time. It could be on your break. It could be during the middle of the night. It could be during New York session, whatever your session is. But if you don't have the system, instead of hopping on the charts to look for a trade, use that time to actually back test, gather a whole bunch of data. Because when you back test in itself, that gives you the confidence to actually execute your system. Without a lot of people skip the first step because they want to make money fast, and that's why when they enter a trade, they don't have the confidence to hold the trade. They don't have the confidence to and what the trade is actually doing. They don't have the confidence to cut. So find time doing that, and you will be saving a lot more money when you go this route. So during that time while you're working, you can be saving a lot of your money and stuff like that. Once you get the data, you go on to the demo testing phase where you're trading for at least 6 months. So you're still working, you're stacking up your money on during this time. And once you're ready for a prop firm challenge, just whatever you were saving, take only a small portion that you can afford to lose on a challenge. So if you're, let's just say you can afford to lose $500 on a challenge, get a 100K challenge after you did the first two steps. And that in itself is when you risking money you can afford to lose. On top of that, you already tested the system. Now, if you do end up losing that challenge, then it won't really matter to you because you didn't just lose all your money, all your life savings, or anything like that. Um, um, Another thing you can do is for the challenges, if you're risking money you can afford to lose, you can up your risk slightly depending on your data. So one thing I didn't talk about this, but this is a good hack, is look at your data during your back testing and your demo testing. See what your average, your max drawdown is. When you look at your data and you know your max drawdown, you know how much trades you can potentially lose in a row, you can have a good understanding on what you can risk on that challenge. So, for example, if you know that your max drawdown is like, let's just say you lose 10 at 1% risk, your max loss streak is 10 in a row. Let's just say you lose 10 in a row, max, right? So let's just do this for a funded account example. Let's just say you pass the on challenge, you're on the funded stage. It will make sense for you to go to lower your risk to 0.5%, right? Because if you know that your max drawdown is 10%, right? You risking 0.5%, you could still lose 10 trades in a row, but you won't hit that max drawdown. That will end up losing your account. So it's just stuff like that. So after you're done working at the yeah, so after you done applying to the challenge, it's gonna be way easier to actually pass the challenge and get funded. And during that time, once you get funded, after you did those state first two steps, you can basically just repeat the cycle while you're at your job and just stack up the money until you feel like it's ready. You're ready at that point. I do also recommend having an extra source of income. So, like for example, when you have a job and you're trading, you still have that extra income, so you know, okay, you can still do certain things. Same thing with trading. A lot of people downplay it as well, but I still do understand because a lot of like what I mean about it is you can be like if you're a really good trader, you can sell a service to somebody. I know a lot of people don't like that, but at the same time, if you're really a good trader and you can prove it, that you can basically just sell a service. You have extra income coming in on top of your trading. So when you show up to the market and you're not trading, it puts an ease on your psychology. So that's what I basically mean by that. Yeah, I have to frame my system. I took a 2.5 funded prop and I made a lucky $20 payout. How can I ignore it? Um, how can you ignore it? Well, let me see if I what you can do is um if you haven't framed the system and you already have the funded account, what I recommend you do is place the minimum lot size. So like if they allow the 0.01 and just get started with testing the system because the most likely thing that's gonna happen is if you since you didn't frame the system and you got lucky, if you continue to trade that system, you might not get lucky. You might not. You bought it 2 years ago at the start. Okay, okay. Wait, so do you still have it, or do you don't you, or what are you trying to say? Do you still have that account? Because if you still have the account and but you didn't frame the system, it would probably be wise if you just place the minimum lot size and go ahead and get started with testing the system so you can actually have a good framework. Yeah. So basically, you said you still have it. So yeah, so you probably just want to ignore it, place a minimum lot size so your account can stay active because with a lot of these prop firms, if you don't place a trade or within 30 days or 60 days for some of them, they're gonna take away your account. So press the 0.01. Go ahead and backtest with TradingView or FX Replay is a good one as well. With FX Replay, you can go down to a 1 minute time frame and you can test 2020 like or 2019 like years ago, stuff like that, and it gives you like an accurate picture of their data. Like for example, like I was making a YouTube video and stuff like that about creating a system. So let me just show y'all real quick. Let me log in. I think my free trial probably ended because I had this before and then I ended my subscription and then I tried it again. Let me see if it's gonna even log me in. All right, there it is. So basically, it's gonna show you all the data. So I was making a YouTube video, like an in-depth video showing like how wins and losses, like even this 31% win rate right here. Y'all are just getting a sneak peek of the performance so far of the video. The video is like over an hour long. If I go to the data, you can see an accurate picture than just psychology. I mean, not psychology, accurate picture than just trading view. So I'm waiting for it to So as you can see, like it still produced 24 percent out of 68 trades. I'm still going because I'm just showing y'all like how you can get a good framework with that video. So it shows me actually taking these trades. Not everything because it's gonna be really too long and stuff like that and all that. And then if you scroll down as well, you can see your average RRR, your max RR, your winners, your losses, um, max consecutive losses. This is the thing I was talking about, where you can use this data to know how much you're gonna risk on your funded account. So if you know, like on average for a whole bunch of trades, you don't go above a certain amount, then you can, risk maybe like half of it. You think that even if I risk low, it will not mess with my psychology? Um, I feel like the thing about psychology, like I think it doesn't have to do with anything about risk and less, right? You're still gonna have a lot of the issues if you didn't do the first step, right? Because let's just say if you risk lower, instead of let's say you risk 1% per trader usually, and you want to go to a 0.25%, right? If you didn't test the system, right, and or don't have confidence in the system, what's gonna happen is, okay, whenever you whenever you are going through a loss streak, right? Your trading results are going to be back and forth because you don't trust your analysis as much as testing your system. If you get what I'm saying, psychology is automatically fixed when you do the work you need to do prior. If you get what I'm saying, and a lot of people skip the work that they need to do prior, and that's why the psychology is terrible. So when I see these YouTube videos of things like, okay, like the tips that they be giving y'all is something like, let me come up with an example, like um walking away from the charts when you're in a trade, or set and forget, or not looking at the P&L. All these I feel like are basic ways and not an actual fix to your psychology, because it's it's still gonna be there. But the real fix is when you actually do the repetition. For example, like if you if you are if you ever drove before, or you got your license, right? You know the work you need to do before you get your license. Me personally, I had to study for to pass my permit test, right. I get my permit, right, and then I have to do a whole bunch of hours of driving, because at the time when I got my license, there was extra requirements when you're under 18. So at the time I had got my license, I think at 17. So there was a whole bunch of night driving. I think it was 40 hours, a whole bunch of day driving, and then on top of that, taking the driving test, right? Similar with trading, but you need to prepare before you actually get into the market, and that will fix your psychology because you know exactly what to do. And just like how I showed you with FX replay, right? If you test the system, right, and you keep on trading it and trading it and trading it, and you just saw that, okay, even though your win rate is low, you still overall made profit. Even though you're taking individual break even trades, you still make profit. And now your understanding goes from, okay, I just need to follow my rules, and that's it. I'm glad you understand it now, because I be looking at some of the content on YouTube. I be like, I don't think that's really going to help, because that's when I saw a big jump. FX Replay free. They give you a 5-day free trial. I think that's it's enough to get a lot of data, especially instead of you actually showing up to the markets to trade. You're just doing that for hours and hours. So after that, I think it's like 30 something a month or something like that. So it's a very good tool. You don't necessarily have to use it. You can still use TradingView, but it's still better if you did use FX Replay and stuff like that. The only reason I had a previous account, I don't even remember what it was, where I was testing my system on here, but I just created this for a YouTube video just showing. I think the title is gonna be like how you can still make money um with being like having losses. I don't know how I'm gonna title it just yet, but I've been working on the video since like last week. But yeah, very good way to like dissect your data. So we're just waiting and waiting. So this is the third candle right now that's forming right here. So simply, my rule is, if this candle like just closes right here, there's nothing for me to do, because what I want is the next whatever candle prints, or if this candle can flip at that 1 to 2 or more, that's where I'll take a partial. But I'm still willing to take a break even on this because like I showed y'all right here. Let me show y'all break evens are part of your system. Losses are a part of your system, right? That's what you got to understand, especially when you do the trick of counting your losses for the year. Because given the fact that you are actually following your system after you do the work that I said, when you actually get up to that funded stage and you're counting, okay, I know I have a 30% win rate and my average R is times as much than 3 times as much as I'm risking. So now this year, if I'm getting 100 trades, I'm gonna expect to take 70 losses. Oh, boom, I took a loss. Oh, boom, I took a loss. That's 2 losses. Oh, I took a win. Add that to the win column, and you're just gonna add that up. You're gonna notice after that 70 losses and those 30 wins, you're still up 20%. And that's the foundation. What you can do to improve now is, like I said, I don't look at win rate to improve a system. I look at how I can increase my average R over time. Cause I like to stay at a minimum of 30% win rate because that's decent, right? And if I can get my average R to be 4 or 5, 6 by improving my system over time, that will make me more money, especially when you focus on scaling your account. Because this same result, this made 24%. If this was like $1,000 account, it wouldn't really mean much, right? And that's why a lot of people focus more on risk and higher, but you don't need to do all that now. We got these prop firms. You can trade your system, scale up with the prop firms, and do what you got to do. So right now it's 11. I didn't even notice how late it was. It's 11:39. Um, like I said, like I don't have a specific time where I just close the trade because of the time. But for me, even though I'm live at a specific time, like right now, I do want to end the live stream, because I got other work to do. I have my other business and stuff like that, and I got to get started with that. But what I typically do is when I go live stream tomorrow, I'm gonna update y'all on the specific trade, and I'm gonna show y'all the P&L of that specific trade, so you know that I didn't do anything like all away from my plans. So that's how I keep y'all updated. When I have a system, what I should do with my job. When you have the system, keep working the job. Like what I mean by it depends on where you at. Like if you have the foundation for your system, right? Where you just tested where no, it's all good. I'm gonna answer your question. So if you have your system, right, and you just starting out, keep the job. Once you get to stacking up the payouts or you stacked your money from the job and you already proved that okay you got the funded account, if you have all those steps you can take that risk. Basically it's still up to you, but it depends on what like stage you are, because you can have a system that is profitable that you tested. Man, that wild dog. All right, you can have a system that is profitable that you tested but you didn't implement it for the demo testing. So at that point, I wouldn't say like leave the job. You should probably just be stacking up while you're testing. Because a lot of traders, what they're doing during this stage, is they're throwing money. Damn, this ball. What a lot of traders are doing at the damn, he barking at me. All right, what a lot of traders do at this stage is they throw money at the market while they're working at the job. So at that point, you're not even having time to even stack up your money, even save up or anything like that. But the fact that during this time you're testing your system, you're getting the foundation, you're applying for these challenges and waiting for your payouts. During that time, you're saving a lot more money, um, because you're doing the proper work initially. Because if you aren't profitable on the demo account, you're not moving on to the next step. So Yeah, that's basically what you do. You stack up during that this whole process when you're on creating your system and up until the payouts and everything like that. So I'm gonna end up ending the stream right now, hopping off. I'm gonna update y'all tomorrow exactly on what this trade does. Show y'all the P&L proof so you know like okay, I didn't remove my stop loss because I didn't like accept that it wanted to be a break even or whatever.